Of all the computers that I have, only one of them has Windows Vista installed. This Lenovo ThinkCentre A70. Funny enough, it has a sticker showing the service I used to get IT certified. But, well, gonna look at this thing and we're gonna see what's on it. So let's get started. I got this thing back in January of 2023, which gives you an idea of how long I've had this computer. It was originally a Windows 7 PC, but then it was used for Linux. Then I replaced the hard drive because Windows Vista does not support GPT partitioning, and then we ended up with Windows Vista on this thing. This is the third computer of my collection that I've ever had. It's not the third computer I've ever had, it's the third computer that's been part of my collection. The two computers preceding this being my Gateway E2000 and Foster 230. This model was introduced in 2010, and well, I would go over the history of the ThinkCentre, however, I've already done that. It's fairly simple. The ThinkCentre was introduced in 2003 by IBM. IBM sold its computer division to Lenovo in 2006, and then they introduced this system in 2010 or so. Which means that this system didn't even come with Windows Vista. Not fact-checked! Now, there are some drivers that support Windows Vista, and those were available on the on Lenovo's support website. I'm not sure if they still are, but I was able to find them back in 2023, so that's fairly simple. I will briefly mention that if it isn't already clear from the sticker, this thing did not originally come with Windows Vista. Anyway, on the front of the system, we have the power button, a USB port, audio jacks, another USB port, and a DVD drive, which is not the original. In fact, I replaced the DVD drive a few months back because the fact that when I originally got the system, the DVD drive that it had was dead. The rear of the system isn't too populated, having a power supply, a serial port, VGA, USB, Ethernet, and 3 more audio jacks. Now, just because I have been in a pool with too much chlorine in it, which is why I've got hives all over my arm, that doesn't mean that I'm not going to use this anti-static band. Now that's the spirit. Anyway, on the inside we have a pretty big cooling vent of some sort, or something to redirect airflow in this system, as well as an ACBEL power supply, expansion slots, and you can get access to the drives and whatnot by removing the bezel first. I've actually known this for a bit of time, since this computer was one of the first that I replaced a hard drive in, all the way back in April of 2023. Getting a better look at this, you can see that the hard drive is mounted upside down, which is interesting. And we have a front-mounted fan here. Anyway, let's put the side panel back on, and let's get this all hooked up and whatnot. Upon booting this up, we have options to go into these menus, and we can go into our fairly typical boot menu, and then we can go straight to the BIOS from there. We have various different settings here in the BIOS, such as system summary and system date and time, various different device options, advanced system options such as plug and play OS and CPU options, the power menu, which is pretty blank, security, which we don't really need to cover anything in here, startup options, which contain things such as boot configuration and changing the boot order and whatnot, and we can exit. Now that we've got why can't I fucking speak, god damn it? Now that we've got that out of the way, let's boot into Windows Vista. Now, as I previously mentioned, this thing had to be restored from System Restore because the fact that after installing an antivirus, it started misbehaving. Probably not one of the greatest things to happen with Windows Vista and an antivirus, especially since the antivirus is a well-known one. But, well, Windows will peg me about a bajillion different things on startup. So, let's skip to when that is done with. Well, I think we should run a Windows Experience Index benchmark, and, well, it came back with this result. At first, I thought that this thing was a very bad computer. However, upon doing a bit of research, WinSat, or Windows Experience Index as it's known in Windows Vista and 7, is based off of a score from 1.0 to 5.9 in Windows Vista, and not the 1.0 to 7.9 that I'm familiar with in Windows 7. So, surprisingly, this thing isn't that bad of a PC. In fact, it might be on par with some of my other SFF systems, such as my... what was it called again? Such as my Dell Optiplex 3020 SFF, even though that computer has a far superior processor that doesn't support Windows Vista. However, I don't truly know how good of a rating this is because, as I mentioned, I don't have any other Windows Vista PCs, or any PCs with Windows Vista installed. Because I should already mention here that, despite having only one PC with Windows Vista installed, it doesn't mean that I've got other PCs that would have originally shipped with Windows Vista. Perhaps one of my more well-known PCs, my HP Compact 6005 Pro SFF, would have originally shipped with Windows Vista. And my Lenovo ThinkCentre A58 also would have originally shipped with Windows Vista. Even further, my Spartan MS163K, which is based off of the MSI PR601, is based off of an MSI laptop, which would have originally shipped with Windows Vista. But I mean, it's an MSI laptop, so you can easily understand from my experience that it's not that great of a laptop. Running a CD or DVD doesn't have too bad of performance. I don't have too much to compare with here, since I have never really measured this, but it's not that bad. Alright, I think we should look at a few different pieces of software. We have Microsoft Word 2007, which unfortunately doesn't have Clippy anymore, or maybe thankfully, you never know. We also have Microsoft Security Essentials, Geekbench 2, Winamp 5.57, Audacity, and MyPal. Oh, and I also forgot this weird application, as well as Blender. So let's try some games now. Oh, except I don't use Windows Vista all too often, and so I don't have any games installed on this computer. Thankfully, we have the two great saviors of this channel and computer gaming, Peggle and Touhou 7. Given the Windows Experience Index score, I'm unsure if what kinds of games would actually be able to run on this thing. So let's hope that I can get enough games onto here, or maybe a different system, before Windows Vista in 2025 inevitably comes around in 2025. So that's basically gonna wrap things up. Overall, not that bad of a system. However, I think that we may need a few more Windows Vista PCs on this channel. I don't know.